Not being a people pleaser is so hard. It is so hard. And even when you know about it, when you are aware of it, it is so hard when it has just been a tendency for so long. And so that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. This video isn't a teaching video. This is a real life trying to walk this out as a person who is, I guess you would say, a recovering people pleaser. I caught myself twice this weekend exhibiting people pleasing behaviors. And one of the times I recognized it and I was able to course correct, and another time I didn't quite recognize it as quickly as I would have hoped. And this is what I teach. This is what I've been talking to you guys about the last several videos. And I'm on here to just let you know that it is a continual process and it's not something that you just master. It's something that you want to have small milestones for so that you can evaluate if you are improving at not being a people pleaser. So this weekend, I went to the beach. We just did a day trip with my two adult daughters, and we get in the car and I put the GPS in because it's going to be like an hour drive. And I don't know what it is, that if it's my car or my settings or whatever, but there are times when I plug the phone in and the GPS will start to come through the audio of the car. And that's fine. But there are times where it will let me regulate the volume, and then other times it will not respond. I'll be trying to turn the volume down, it will not respond. Well, this was one of those times where it would not respond to me trying to turn the volume down. And so it is blasting every turn, every direction as we're driving in the car. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is probably so annoying to my daughters," because we're all kinda quiet. We talk, but we're all more on the introverted side, and we just enjoy each other's company. Have you ever had that friend or that family member where you can just sit in silence together and you still enjoy each other just as much? It's like that when we're together. And I know we've got a long drive. People probably want to put their headphones in and listen to their music. So I'm automatically freaking out about, not freaking out, but internally, I'm like, oh crap, this doggone GPS is going to be so annoying. So I didn't even realize it, but I was saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why the volume won't go down. And I would try to turn it down again. I try to adjust some settings on my phone. And then I would be like, I'm sorry. I don't know why this thing won't turn down. Until finally, my daughter, who was in the front with me, she said, Mom, stop apologizing. It's not your fault and it's not within your control. You're trying to fix it. It won't go down. It's okay. We're not gonna die. And I was like, "Oh," I didn't even realize that I was saying the words, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And again, this is something simple. But it is still a exercise in, here I am apologizing, over apologizing for something that is not my fault, not within my control, and I feel the need to make everybody's experience pleasant. And I don't like the thought of their experience not being pleasant. And not that those are bad things, but we have to learn when we're taking it too far, right? And the good thing that I did was I immediately just turned off the stereo and the audio speakers from the car, the stereo speakers from the car, and I just put an earbud in and then rerouted the directions to my earbud, and it got me out of that apologizing loop and worrying that their experience was not gonna be a pleasant one. But I fell into that trap of, and I know this is so common with a lot of people where, as we wanna make sure everybody's having a good time and we feel responsible for everybody having a good time, when that is really not our responsibility. But it's a thing, and if you're an empathetic person, it's a thing that is a tendency, and we have to work through these situations. And I set the goal for myself that I will try to recognize it sooner next time. I have to try to be more cognizant of my words. And when I start apologizing and question myself, is this something that I really need to be apologizing for or not? That was one scenario. And that was Saturday. And then on Sunday, I did a little bit better on Sunday, but on Sunday, one of my daughters said, "Mom, the finances are really tough, and I've tried several things, and I don't think it's going to get better in the near future. And I want to know if I would be able to come back home and reset." Now, she's been on her own for 10 years. So I just have my two sons home, and they're not young either, 17 and 23. And I caught myself in the moment because immediately my mind went to, I feel like I have to say yes as a parent, that I can't say no, but how's it going to affect the other people in the house? And I immediately started thinking about everybody else's experience and my two boys. I take care of my 91-year-old mother. She lives with me. What are all the logistics space wise? I don't want anybody else to be uncomfortable or have to change their rhythm and their routine. How's this shift the dynamics of the house because she has a really big dog that's really active? And my mind just started going a million miles a minute, and then my emotions were going a million miles a minute. I wanted to say yes and help her. However, at the same time, I knew that it while nobody in the family would want me to have one of their siblings struggling, at the same time, we had to be honest and with her and with ourselves that we can't just be like, "Oh, yeah, sure, no problem," because it is going to be an adjustment and it is going to be a change. I don't know if any of you have had adult children come back home, but the child that lived with you when they were 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and 16 is not the same person that's coming back at 25, 26, 27 when they've been on their own. And how does that all look? And how does that all feel? And immediately I'm thinking about how's everybody else going to feel? And if anybody needs to make the biggest sacrifice in terms of moving things, and it should be me and all of that. And I caught myself and I said, "Shonda, slow down. You're going to have to not let your emotions run away with you. You need to have several conversations with her, with my daughter. You need to have conversations with the other people in the house because, yes, they will be affected, but from it, come at it from a logical space, not the emotions about how you feel and how your feelings are being controlled by how everybody else is going to feel, and that whole rabbit trail." And so it's something that we're still working through in terms of all the details, but I did a little bit better in that I recognized the pattern earlier. Probably because I had just gone through a situation on Saturday where I didn't recognize the pattern, so I was maybe a little bit more alert. But I shared these two stories with you to say it's never something that I think we master, especially if it's your natural personality to care about how people think and feel, and you're just wired that way. You're a natural empathetic person. I think it's something that we're going to always have to work at because that very characteristic of being caring and considerate and being able to walk in somebody else's shoes, that is the very thing that can get weaponized against us, right? And can get us so far off course where now we are self sacrificing to a degree that's really detrimental. Sometimes to a degree where we look up one day and we don't even know ourselves because we have just put ourselves on the back burner for everybody else and anything else for so long that we become not recognizable to ourselves. And so it is a fine line and it's a balance. So it's almost going to be like an art or a skill that we have to learn to manage. And as you become more educated about it and you become more aware of it, just know that when you slip up or you fall back into old patterns or ways of thinking, don't beat yourself up. Just you say, look, oh, I gotta be on my game, gotta be a little bit more aware of what is dictating my actions, right? So I just want to encourage you to recognize it as early as you can and then try to stop that train of thought and your emotions kind of running away with you and then kind of pull yourself back and come at it from a more logical place of what am I responsible for? What really is within my area of control? Am I really responsible for how other people feel? Am I able to control all aspects of this scenario? Those types of questions. Ask yourself to kind of reel yourself back in so that you're not taking on everybody else's emotions and fears and responsibilities and all the things. So I hope that you just stay encouraged, stay the course. People pleasing is a tough behavior to correct, but it is so worth it if we can. We'll feel so much more free when we're not carrying stuff that we were never meant to carry, right? So that's the goal ultimately is we want to walk in freedom, right? And not be burdened by the cares of this world, especially the ones that are outside of our control that we should never put on our shoulders to begin with. So just a word of encouragement today. We'll return to a study and lesson video, the next video that comes out. And in the meantime, I want you to study to show yourself approved. I want you to study yourself as well as I always want you to study the Word of God, but study to show yourself approved because I want you to be able to see you like God sees you. And that is what is going to get us to walking in freedom and pursuing the things and the purposes that He put us on this planet for, right? And that's, I think, one of the highest achievements that we can do. So, love you, study yourself, see yourself as God sees you. Until the next time, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.